You might just feel like you're just not on the right track. But I'm here to tell you today, you're definitely on the right track, okay? Do not let anyone make you feel like you are not where you're supposed to be. Literally, there's no map to your 20s. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Marissa. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you again for tuning in. If this is your first time here, what's up? You're in for a treat today. If you're currently in your 20s or you're about to turn 30 or you just turned 30, whatever this video is for you, I'm pretty sure everyone can relate. And just a little disclaimer, I am in no way a life coach or a therapist. I'm literally just sharing my experiences and things that I've learned along the way, and just sharing some things that might help you if you are in your 20s or if you are pushing that 30 mark. Let's get into it. First of all, I cannot believe I'm about to turn 30. Your girl is turning 30 and I'm honestly excited. My 20s were fun. Like, when you're in your 20s, you feel like it's forever, like literally 20 years. So turning 30 is literally a milestone, and I am just super excited to share with you guys some things that I learned in my 20s that I wish someone told me. Maybe you're like 25, 26 and you feel like, whoa, like time is just moving super fast. Like, I'm gonna be 30 in a couple years. You might feel like you don't have your ish together, and that is completely normal, okay? Let's just normalize not having your stuff together in your 20s, okay? I think we all feel this pressure in our 20s, especially when we hit that like 25, 26 mark, and we're just like, yo, I'm not engaged. I don't have my own place. I don't even have a career that I really love. All my friends are either getting engaged, they're married, they have kids. You might just feel like you're just not on the right track. But I'm here to tell you today, you're definitely on the right track, okay? Do not let anyone make you feel like you are not where you're supposed to be. Literally, there's no map to your 20s. Everything is gonna happen when it's supposed to happen, and you really just have to trust God's timing and just work to be where you wanna be, and it'll happen. Okay, so travel is very important in your 20s, just to see other parts of the country or other parts of the world. Like, traveling to different states, for me, like, that was where I really started. You know, I love Miami. I used to go there all the time. And then, you know, I started venturing out to like Cali, just different places. And then, you know, when you do have that domestic experience traveling, you could kind of take it like international and start going to different countries just to see what's out there. And it's really good to just get culture and to see how other countries are living. It honestly makes you appreciate what you have here. Sometimes, you know, we are privileged where we live in America, if you do live here, and sometimes visiting outside the country, you really do take things for granted. So it's really nice to just travel and see other things, scenery, you know, waters, like experience like different color waters. I live in Jersey, and I think the first time I saw like really blue clear water was when I went to Miami, and I was like, okay, so now I see why they call it Dirty Jersey. Makes sense. But yeah, definitely travel, get your feet wet. Also, traveling gives you like a little bit of independence, right? Just having to take care of yourself and watch after yourself. Obviously, like, travel safely. If you can travel with other people, that's great. If not, solo trips are A1. I went on my first solo trip actually this year, and I'm so sad like I didn't vlog it, but I went to Arizona. I went to Scottsdale, Phoenix, and Sedona, and I will be back, and hopefully I'll be vlogging when I return. But that was like the best trip that I've ever taken. I'm gonna make another video about solo trips, but if you're able to travel either with groups, with your friends, or solo, definitely put that on your bucket list for your 20s. Save your money. Listen to me. When we hear of this, like save, like I feel like people have told me this, like I did hear this in my 20s, right? Like save your money. But I was like, save it for what? Like, I'm trying to live my life, okay? I'm out here going out to eat. I'm spending money on trips. I'm spending money on clothes, hair, all of that, right? And obviously you can do these things if you live at home, you know, with your parents or your family. So it's a little bit easier to save your money or spend your money, whatever you're doing. But I'm not saying save all your money and don't spend anything and don't enjoy your 20s, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying save money, period. Whether that means saving $10 a week, $20 a week, $50 a week, it really is based on your income, what you're able to afford, but definitely make sure you have a stash. And I think we really learned in 2020 in the pandemic that a lot of people just don't have savings. They didn't have savings. So it's like, what do you have to fall back on if you do have an emergency? I would say start with an emergency fund. Most banks offer a free savings account if you have a checking account with them. So definitely look into that. Or you can go like the old school route and just have a piggy bank where you just throw in change, or if you have cash, you just throw it in blindly, and then like one day you just look in the piggy bank and you're like, yeah, I am a millionaire. That's lit. But yeah, definitely save your money. Don't spend it all on clothes and food, okay? I know it is very tempting in your 20s. You want to look good, you want to eat good, but be conscious of your money. If you can, start taking like courses on money, read some books about how to manage your money. My mom gave me a book by Susie Orman. It's called Women in Money. But yeah, definitely start reading some books on how to manage your money. And yeah, if you're able to afford it at some point, it's great to just have that independency, right? Is that a word? Independency? I know dependency is a word, but I don't know about it. Anyway, you get to learn how to be an adult. That is what your 20s is all about. It's about adulting. It's about coming out of your teenage years and out of that, you know, very sheltered under your parents. They take care of everything. It's you growing and learning how to become an adult. So the best way to do that is to live on your own. I moved out of my mom's house when I was like 26, I believe. I think like 26, turning 27. And my first apartment, studio, super small, but I loved it. It was my space. I felt good just coming home. And I'm also an introvert, so I really thrive when I have my alone time and when I have my space. So me living on my own for the first time was amazing. Being able to decorate how you want, you know, learning how to cook, experimenting with that. Food shopping sucks and it is expensive, it gets expensive, but you know, it's just nice to know that you can provide for yourself and take care of yourself. So living on your own is definitely a way to boost your adulthood, if you want to say that. Maybe start out with like one roommate, maybe two roommates, I don't know. I can't do the roommate thing. I have never had a roommate. At this point in my life, turning 30, I don't think that's an option or it's gonna happen unless it were for financial reasons. But I do really like living on my own. I feel like I've learned so much. I've learned so much about myself. And also too, it's healthy to learn to be on your own, you know, just to learn to be in your own solitude. You really get to know yourself. There will be days, obviously, where you're lonely. You might want someone to come over, you might want to have company, and that's the great thing about living alone. You can have company, you could throw parties, you could do all that, but definitely one of the things you should strive to do is move out in your 20s. D-A-T-E, date, okay? Obviously you're gonna date in your 20s, right? But when I say date, what I mean is get to know different people in different settings. Take your time. There's literally no rush. When you're in your early 20s, you barely know yourself. You're still getting to know yourself. You're still getting to know life. You're still getting familiar with just being an adult, right? And sometimes, like, when you don't know yourself, it's hard to tell or show who you are to someone else, if that makes sense. If I don't know myself and I jump into a relationship with someone and maybe they do know themselves or maybe they don't, at that point we're kind of just like adapting to each other. Sometimes you're just not sure what you want, and that could cause a lot of like frustration and resentment in a relationship. So that's why I always just say just date. And you don't have to be like a serial dater, right? You don't have to go on 3 dates a week. You don't have to go on 2 dates a day. Like it doesn't have to be that type of thing. It doesn't have to be like a Sex and the City thing, even though I like swore I was Carrie Bradshaw. Like when I was a teen, I was like, yes, I was like, that's the life I'm gonna live. Like I'm gonna live in the city. I'm gonna have like a couple boyfriends and an amazing job. And I think that's like how we all feel when we're in our teens, and we just, you know, we see these like figures when we're younger, and we, you know, we strive to be that. But at the end of the day, you really come into your own. The point is to just get to know people, take your time, get to know different types of people, get to know what you like, what you want in a person. Definitely be aware of what you're looking for and what your standards are before you start dating. That way you can weed out all the bad and toxic people. Also too, with dating, you kind of get to know yourself, you kind of get to know what you like, what personalities mix with yours. Be honest about your intention with dating and take your time, have fun. This one kind of ties into living on your own. Obviously, when you live by yourself, if you're not someone who just orders out every day, you're gonna have to learn how to cook. Just getting some like cookbooks, using YouTube. I learned a few good recipes from YouTube myself, and just really figuring out like what mixes well with what, like your seasonings. You cannot go wrong with garlic, onions, like those will always make your food taste so much better. Don't OD on the salt. But yeah, just experiment in the kitchen. You know, you're gonna have a couple oopsies where the food is not gonna come out the way that you expected it to, or the way that it was looking on that YouTube video that you pulled up. But that's okay, because there's always another time and another time and another time, and then you just get better and you end up perfecting something and kind of just putting your own twist. You know, like when you have those family functions and like, you know that your aunt, she makes the best mac and cheese, okay? And she makes the best mac and cheese because she has mastered it. She probably has been making it for so many years that she knows exactly the portions, exactly how much salt, exactly how much cheese, all of that. And you know, we're just talking about you cooking for yourself, and then eventually when you start seeing success in your meals and your food, you can, you know, invite people over and cook for them and all that. So definitely experiment in the kitchen, get to know your flavors and everything like that. And also, cooking is going to save you a lot of money. Definitely invest in your kitchen and put some good food in your refrigerator. Getting out of your comfort zone is really, really important. I think when we, you know, when we're growing up and we're living with our parents, like we're very used to a certain type of, you know, living and schedule and just things, and sometimes we don't see things outside of that box that we were built in or we lived in. So it's good to just get outside of your comfort zone. So a couple ways you can do this is to, you know, try new things, try dance classes, cooking classes, fitness classes, painting classes, you know, like really find out what you really like what your passions are. It's really important to have hobbies. Not only do hobbies give you like that creative expression, you also get to meet people. I've met a lot of my friends through dance. A lot of my friends have come from my classes and the gym, and you know, just networking that way. So it's really good to just get outside your comfort zone and to just do things that you wouldn't normally do or that you didn't grow up doing. It's also going to help you grow. It's going to give you social skills. It's also going to expand your knowledge of certain things. So just get out there, try different things, go to different events, sign up for different types of things, and you know, invite people with you. It's always better to try new experiences with people, whether that's friends or relationships, romantic partners. Definitely get out there and try something new. The word selfish has such a negative stigma, such a bad stigma, right? Like selfish, when you're talking about being selfish, it's like, you know, self. You think of self, like you only care about yourself. You only, you know, you're not thinking about other people's feelings or what other people want. And that's not necessarily the case with being selfish. It can actually be a good thing to be selfish. Being selfish is sometimes equivalent to being self-aware, right? So when you're selfish, you're self-aware of what you need in order to thrive and in order to be happy. So sometimes, you know, it might be selfish to someone else if you decide, you know, that's not for you. So for instance, say that a friend invites you to an event, maybe a couple things that you want to get done around the house, or, you know, you decided, you know, I've been going out too much. Maybe I need to stay in the house, get these things done. I have like a to-do list, or maybe you just want to chill out and watch Netflix and do nothing, right? So being selfish in a sense would be declining your friend's invitation in order for you to stay home and tend to yourself, if that makes sense. So there's gonna be a lot of times where you're gonna be in predicaments where you might have to make a decision, and the decision that you make might come off as selfish. So in your 20s, it's very common to be a people pleaser. It's very common to just go along with the flow, to want to say yes to people, to want to show up for all these things, want to, show your face. But sometimes, like, being selfish means saying no to some things, and it really means just taking care of what you need, listening to your intuition, listening to your body, and really just honoring yourself. So let's take the negative stigma off the word selfish. Let's put it in a positive light. Like, selfish doesn't mean necessarily a bad thing. You don't have to say, obviously, like, yeah, I'm being selfish. I'm gonna be selfish today. I'm not doing this with you. You don't have to say that you're selfish, but it's just that mentality of being selfish, knowing that you are tending to yourself and you are giving yourself what you need in order to be happy. We all know someone toxic. We have all been in either a toxic relationship or we have a toxic family member. We might be the toxic one. I don't know. You might be toxic if you're watching her. You might be toxic. I don't know. I don't know. So part of growing as an adult and growing as an individual and really being happy is realizing when people are not good for you. So that's really what toxic means. It just means not good, right? It means garbage, trash, whatever you want to call it. Toxic is just, it's not beneficial for everyone. So you're gonna run into people, you're gonna have, friends, you're gonna have relationships that might, maybe at the beginning you don't see that it's toxic, but maybe down the line you do start to notice little toxic traits. You might have conversations with your friends or your family, and they might tell you that it's toxic. And sometimes we are in denial, even just with ourselves. If we have toxic traits as well, we might be in denial of that. So it's really good to be able to identify what toxicity is and what toxic traits are. It really could vary for everyone. If you get a bad feeling about something or someone, or it's not serving you, or it's not conducive to the life that you want to live, it most likely is toxic. So just be super aware of people around you and the relationships, how you feel in those relationships, how you feel around certain people. If it is toxic, do not be afraid to cut it off. Cut it off, take a step back. Even if you don't cut someone off completely, it's nice to just take a step back, like limit your communication with them, limit their access to you, all of that. Cutting out toxic people is definitely gonna save you a lot of heartache, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. So do yourself a favor and cut it off. If you are within your career, or maybe you just have a job that's paying the bills regardless, I always recommend having a side hustle. Since I was 19 or 20, I have always had at least 2 sources of income. I'm not a millionaire, I'm not even close to it, but I feel like having multiple streams of income can always help you. It's never gonna be a bad thing. You could be working a full-time job, and maybe you are looking to launch like a side business or a small business. Maybe you just want a part-time job that's maybe going to fulfill your interest. When I was 20, I worked at a spa, and I did front desk part-time, and then my career, what I was working on, what I was going to school for, was hospitality with a focus in event planning, which we won't talk about another time because I'm not really doing that right now. But what the heck, bro? Hey! This dog just stole my hanger and was about to run under my bed with it. You know what? Get out of here. I'm sorry. Anyway. So I was working on, my career, what I went to school for, what I thought was gonna be my career path. And I also had another job where I was, reaping the benefits. I got free massages every month. I had friends that worked there, and the schedule was a little bit more flexible, but I was working on 2 things at once. So I just always suggest just have a side hustle, have a backup plan. It's never a bad thing to be involved in different types of industries and different types of jobs and picking up different types of skills. So if you can, have 2 jobs at once where you're learning skills here or you're practicing the skills that you already learned here, it's never a bad thing. And you really never know where you're gonna end up. Again, referring back to like 2020 when we didn't know what was happening, I think a lot of people fell back on their side hustle, or they fell back on things that they were looking to launch or they wanted to do, and now that's like their full-time business. I know how hard it is to compare yourself to other people. You might have friends who are buying homes, you might have friends who are making 6 figures a year. It's very easy to get into this space where you feel like you're not doing enough, or you're not good enough, or you're a failure. So really try to get outside of your head. Stop comparing yourself. You are literally on the path that you're supposed to be. Things are gonna happen the way that they're supposed to happen. Just really trust the process and trust the journey. You're gonna end up exactly where you need to be once you put the work in. So stop comparing yourself. Social media is a lie. A lot of people are gonna front and fake and put on a show and pretend like they have all these things and are in these certain spaces and places and they're doing all of this. This dog just wants attention. But yeah, just don't feed into the hype. Everyone is literally on their own path. Everyone has their own insecurities. Everyone has their own struggles. So try to just worry about yourself and where you need to be. You will get there, trust me. Taking care of your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health, watching what you put into your body. So in terms of food, in terms of alcohol, in terms of drugs, the state of your body is literally going to reflect on your lifestyle. So if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not living an active lifestyle, if you're not eating healthy, if you are a cigarette smoker, not trying to come for anybody, but I'm just saying these are things that you have to consider in your 20s. And I think a lot of people in their 20s, including myself, like sometimes we take our youth and we take things for granted and we're just like, oh, you know, I'll worry about it when I get older. I'll worry about it when I turn 30. But really, like, if you take care of yourself, like if you really invest in your health in your 20s, like that really sets the tone for how you're gonna live the rest of your life, how you're gonna take care of yourself. And just setting those good habits for yourself, it's gonna be easier to just keep those habits going, just eating healthy, taking care of yourself, taking care of your skin. Again, just referring back to like toxic relationships, that ties into your mental and your emotional health. So you really just got to be aware of what's good for you, what's not good for you, and what's gonna benefit you in the long run. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into another video. I hope this was super useful to you guys. I want to see y'all thriving in your 20s, okay, or even in your 30s. 30 and thriving. I will keep you guys updated. I'm definitely gonna be vlogging on my 30th birthday, so stay tuned. If you are not subscribed, please make sure you're subscribed and hit that like button, show your support, and I will see you guys in the next video. Leave some comments below. Let me know if there's anything that I left out. There's probably gonna be a part 2 to this video just because originally I wanted to do 20 things I learned in my 20s, but it would end up being like a super long video and my camera's like, you need to go charge me. So I will continue this video in another one. Please let me know your thoughts below and I will see y'all soon.